Hey everybody, Rob here at eTrailer.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with a 7-way RV style connector on our 2019 GMC Acadia. Now, having a 7-way on the back of your Acadia is going to be really nice because not only is it going to give us our light functions that we need to get down the road with our trailer, like our brake lights, tail lights, and turn signals, but it's also going to give us our backup lights, have a 12-volt power source back here, and if we have a brake controller, we're going to be able to control the brakes on our trailer as well. Now, like all 7-ways, this is going to stay on the outside of the car at all times, so you will need to pick up a bracket here. Now, we recommend the Pollak bracket because it's universal design, and it makes it a lot easier to mount up your 7-way. But our 7-way is going to have a spring-loaded door that we can keep all the dirt, debris, and any kind of moisture from inside the connector, hopefully preventing any kind of corrosion. You'll see it's going to have a nice little weather stripping on there to really help out with that. And the little notch here is going to make sure that when we plug it in, our cord is not going to get ripped out. Now, your 7-way connector is going to be one of the most common connectors on trailers. And typically it is going to be for a little bit larger trailers that have brakes on them. But if you have a smaller trailer that does not have brakes, we can still use our 7-way with an adapter that'll go down to either a 4, 5, or 6-way. Now, the adapters are going to be sold separately, but you can find them here at eTrailer.com. Now, keep in mind when you mount your 7-way up, as you can see, our panel is not going to be able to go back in place. And if you really want to put it back in place, we're really going to end up cutting most of the panel off. So really the best option is to leave it off. That way we can have our trailer hitch and our wiring very easily accessible. As far as the installation goes, it's going to be extremely straightforward. There's no cutting or splicing into our factory wiring. It's going to have 2 connectors behind the bumper here that we'll plug our new harness into, and then just mount up the plug and mount the bracket up. In fact, let's go and walk through the installation together. To begin our installation, we're going to come to the back of our Acadia. But if we look up inside the body here, right underneath this panel, we'll find this large plug. It's going to have a dummy plug on it. Kind of want to just bring it down for now so we have access to it. But then if we look farther up, we'll see another connector up here. I'm going to grab this and pull it off the clip that's on the body so we can get access to that as well. Now, on the small gray plug, we have this red locking tab. You want to slide that away from the end. Then we're going to push down on the center, and that'll release the cap so we can pull it off. The other plug's going to be pretty similar. There won't be a locking tab on it. We just want to press down on the small black section here, and that'll release the cap so we can pull it off. So now we can grab our new harness, and you'll notice that we're going to have 2 plugs that are going to match up to the ones on our vehicle. So we'll grab our connectors, we can start plugging them in. Whenever you plug your connectors in, when you hear that click, know they're locked in place. And then once that's locked in and we hear that click, we want to slide that red locking tab back in as well. So now we can grab our 7-way connector and we need to mount it to our bracket. We want to make sure that we slide the end through. We'll line up the holes and then we can use the hardware that comes with our bracket to mount everything up. Our bracket's going to come with some screws. So we'll line up the holes so all 4 line up. Pass it through, and then on the back side we're going to put a locking nut. I'm just going to get these all loosely started by hand. That way we don't have to worry about the connector falling off. And then we can come back and use a screwdriver to tighten everything up. Now, since these are locking nuts, we should actually just be able to hold it with our finger, grab a flat blade screwdriver, and tighten up the screw on the other side. So let's go back and tighten them all up so that all 4 of those screws are nice and snug. Then we can just simply line up our connector, plug it in, again making sure we hear that click, or just give it a quick tug and make sure it is fully seated. Then we just tie up our excess wire up high to the existing wiring that's already up there. That will be out of the way and give us a nice clean look. Now the final step is going to be testing our circuits. Now I went ahead and plugged in my 7-pole tester so we can run through all the functions. If we look up at the top, we can already see that we have voltage going through, so we do have our power source. Go ahead and turn on my headlights and we can see that my clearance lights are working, as well as the left turn signal, my right turn signal, and my brakes. And if I put it in reverse, We can see that that function is working as well. And if we want to, later on down the road, we can add a brake controller, and then we'll be able to control the brakes on our trailer. Now that we've tested everything and everything's working properly, we can hook up to our trailer and hit the road. But now that we've verified that everything is working, that'll finish up your installation and your look at the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with a 7-way RV style connector on our 2019 GMC Acadia.